Well, I guess what I should do before showing y'all our toys is show you what we actually put into our beer.
Oh, I'd love to see it.
Beer is sugar water. I mean, that's all it is. And for thousands of years, people have made beer from any number of things. In South America, the people there used to make their beer out of corn. Asia, people would make their beer out of rice. Yeah, in prison, they make beer out of ketchup.
Okay.
What I've been told.
Yeah.
That's right. Where you get your sugar from really establishes the character of the beverage you end up with. Barley has been the heart and soul of all fine beers for literally thousands and thousands of years. Malting your barley is basically a three-step process. First, you soak it in water, it sprouts, and to get the energy to sprout, turn itself from a lowly seed into a glorious stalk of barley, it needs to convert through enzymatic action. I spent a week memorizing that phrase.
That's enzymatic. There's a lot of syllables in there.
It converts its starch into sugar. And depending on how you roast it, you'll either end up with this or this. Yeah, that's right. We're
just down the hatch?
Yeah, down the hatch, bottoms up. It's the breakfast of champions. Beer is health food. You know, people often ask me, say, what are the nutritional benefits of drinking beer? And I tell them, well, first of all, I'm 73 years old.
Yeah.
Hey.
You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. Enjoyment and moderation of these things can do a lot to preserve your health and allow you to live a long, happy existence. Now, don't eat these.
No, just...
Yeah, give them a smell.
Very citrusy.
Very citrusy. Those are the Chinook hops and the other hops that we'll use in our beers. Without hops, beer would be very sweet and syrupy, and it wouldn't have much shelf life. The hops give it staying power, the antimicrobial properties in the hops. It's another mouthful.
Yeah, enzymatic and antimicrobial. Do you have it written down somewhere?
That's right. I've got crib notes right here on my wrist. They really help at times like this. They'll help the beer stay whole. They'll give it that wonderful aroma, and then they'll also give it that bitter, crisp edge. Hops are just amazing. The secret of the hop is that powdery yellow resin that you see contained in the hop flowers. That's called lupulin. And lupulin is an amazing thing. It's got alpha acids, beta acids, all kinds of essential oils that impart all kinds of nearly magical properties to the hop plant. I don't know where the hell I'm going with any of this. Any dope with a bucket can make beer. I've done just that. To make your beer, you need 4 ingredients and 4 ingredients only.
Okay.
All good beers include these 4 things: water, grain, hops, and yeast. The yeast is, well, it's in your socks right now probably, but it's also wafting through the atmosphere. I don't know what your hygiene habits are, but it's
There's probably yeast in my socks.
Yeah, it's a unicellular multi-organism.
So like a biology class.
That's right.
Do I get a degree when I leave?
A degree in beerology.
Yeah, well that's all I want.
You'll get it. It eats sugar and it makes alcohol. I mean, this is a wonderful thing. Yeast is man's best friend. The foundation of all of our beers is a very pale malt, one that hasn't been roasted a lot. And we literally use tons and tons and tons of it every day. So much, in fact, that we store it in silos outside. In fact, I'll show you where those silos are. Between the two of them, they hold close to 100,000 pounds of malt.
How much beer does that represent? How many gallons?
Not nearly enough.
Not enough.
No.
Well, you're thirsty.
Clearly, yeah.
And I'm thirsty.
It is a hot
Let's
day.
get another silo.
All right. If we're making, say, a batch of our IPA, which we're doing right now, we will use about ½ a pound of grain behind every 22-ounce bottle. It's not light beer, of course.
No.
We're not in the light beer business.
I'm not asking for it.
Yeah, nobody should be in the light beer business, actually. Now, some of these tanks are quite hot, so you want to resist the temptation to plant your hands on the shiny tanks there. We're going to make mash. We're going to activate those enzymes that make sugar. More sugar means more flavor, more alcohol, more body, more of everything good.
More.
This is our Lauter tank. Lauter is a German word. It means to basically separate your liquids from your solids. And that's what we're doing in this tank right here. Everything we need has been taken out of it.
Right.
But this is still useful if you've got a herd of cattle to feed. That's where it's going. There's a gentleman who's going to pick this up after it gets blasted out through that pipe right there. And there is some residual sugar in there, so it'll ferment in the truck on the way up. The cows are happy to eat it.
So it's like happy hour for the cows.
Happy hour for the very happy cows. We're boiling the wort in here. The wort is circulating through a steam tunnel, which heats it up. And by circulating it through a steam tunnel and back into the kettle over and over again, we're keeping it at a very even boil.
Okay.
It's very, very important. We're controlling the degree of precision to the nth degree here. The tricky part is making the same good beer over and over and over again. In order to get the bitterness out of the hops and infuse it into the brew, you have to break down the molecules in the hops that give you bitterness. In fact, what you're going to end up doing is isomerizing the alpha acids to produce isohumulones. Yeah, bells went off on that one. I guess I really hit it.
You won.
That's right. Yes, I did. If you've ever had a skunky tasting beer, it probably came in a green or a clear bottle. I won't mention any names. You can probably think of a few, though. This is our cellar where everything ferments.
Okay.
This is where the magic happens. Yeah.
This is a moment of silence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are our fermenter tanks. We'll pump the yeast into the tank via these hoses here, and then we allow the fermenter to fill with the wort. We're making ales here with yeast that ferments at room temperature. We'll crash cool these tanks down to freezing. Ale yeast doesn't like to be cold. It likes to be the same temperature we do, about 70 degrees. So when you chill it, it flocculates. There's a great Scrabble word for you. 2 C's. It all clumps together and sinks to the bottom. And then it's simply a matter of drawing the beer off at this level and then pumping out the spent yeast at that level there. I mean, that's 3 batches of beer in there.
A lot of thermal mass.
That is a lot of thermal mass. A lot of thermal mass. Yeah, so it takes a long time to move that mass. It's going to be a little murky because we haven't filtered it yet. There's still live yeast in it.
Let's go to the filtration.
All right, good segue there. I liked it. It's very much like a swimming pool filter.
Okay.
We pump beer through, strain out all the microscopic bits of hops that could decrease its shelf life. The bottles are filled by machine. 3 things you want to keep away from your beer: sunlight, air, and heat. First of all, we put our beer into brown bottles. The brown will filter out all the bandwidths of light that can get in there and funkify your beer. That's the technical word. That's right. This right here is our filler. It's a merry-go-round filled with beer. That's a good time right there. And as it comes around, the first thing we do is we purge the bottle of air by blasting carbon dioxide into the bottle. These rocker valves are then dispensing beer into the bottle. And then the foam spills out over the top. And that's a hard thing to watch for some folks, because there is a little bit of spillage involved there. And we all mourn the loss, but it's all part of a bigger plan. We then slap a cap on it. The foam eventually subsides in the neck of the bottle, and from that condensed foam, we now have CO2 filling the headspace in the bottle, which is forming a protective barrier between your beer and the cruel outside world. We're about to enter a very sacred place, so yeah, little reverence. And our beer does get stored in here, but not for very long, because people for a long time now have been drinking our beer faster than we can make it. It's a good problem for us. Yeah. Bad problem for them. You know, we don't want people to be disappointed when they reach for one of our beers and it's not there for them.
Oh yeah, because they would have wasted the reach.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to issue a retraction on a statement that I made, which was unfortunately an error. Yeast is not a unicellular multi-organism, but a unicellular microorganism. I apologize. I've been drinking since 8 a.m. Things are going to get a little loose by noon.